We've gotten the kind of response from our viewers in terms of being more informed about what the JTA does.
And we're looking for more coming up.
You got it.
Absolutely. For the tens of thousands of passengers on JTA each day, the bus or trolley is usually just a means of getting from one place to another. But for the riders of the X2, the bus has become much more than that. As Making Moves' Eugene Lindsay shows us, many ride the X2 by choice, not need, and have turned their daily ride to work into a festive affair with a whole new group of friends.
In the early morning hours, as people everywhere start their daily commute to work, more and more commuters are choosing to leave their cars at home to utilize Jacksonville's mass transit system, like this group of riders who stand and watch for the arrival of the X2 Express. The X2 Express starts its inbound commute into downtown Jacksonville from the Sandcastle Plaza at 6:33 in the morning with limited stops. It heads north on A1A, then west here on Beach Boulevard, all the way into town. And most of its passengers agree that there are some real advantages to leaving the car at home.
I do have a vehicle. It's a combination of things, saving money on gas. And I just think if it's here, use it.
What's nice about riding the bus is the driver has to take care of all the idiots that are on the road. I mean, on the days that I do drive, by the time I get home, I'm so stressed from the traffic and all the drivers that are less than considerate. Whereas when you get on the bus, it's quiet. I mean, you can read if you want to, you can have conversations if you want to, or you can sleep if you want to. That happens occasionally. It's really nice. It's really relaxing.
But a relaxing ride is not the only perk that comes with commuting on the X2 Express.
Here we go, Muffin Monday.
They also enjoy getting together to just plain old have a good time. Marie Stone heads up Muffin Monday, but this crew is known for celebrating every day of the work week with Tofu Tuesday, Waffle Wednesday, Thursday is Friday Eve, and then of course there's Fabulous Friday.
It's kind of a social group. We've had birthday parties on here, we've had retirement parties, we've had baby showers, all with the same group of people that's been riding, at least since I've been on it, for 3 years.
You got to go to work, so why not have a fun time, on your way, and just bring a smile, somebody say hello to in the morning and not deal with traffic and the stress of it all, and it saves us all money. In the long run, that's what it comes down to.
That's why this group of choice riders say that choosing JTA makes all the difference in their day.
When I get to work, I'm happy, ready to go.
Aboard the X2 Express, I'm Eugene Lindsay for JTA, Making Moves.
Michael, you might not think of a JTA bus ride as the time or place that you're going to build a long-lasting friendship, but obviously that's what's been happening on the X2. And what about Muffin Monday?
Well, that's all part of this new social network effects that we're seeing now, that people really want to talk to each other and be a part of these new experiences. And so these kind of routes are just kind of creating that kind of situation where we're bringing people together to meet people they've never met before. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, and just because you talked about the social network, that reminded me that most times on a bus ride or anything that we do plane, we're all engaged either with our headphones or we're texting or something like that. So this really does create a whole new atmosphere.
Well, not only that, Joyce, it's very safe because they don't have to drive.
Oh, absolutely.
So you just ride the bus and text.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I want a good career, and I know that Florida Coast Career Tech is going to help me find it.
I'm confident that I will find a great job after completing the program.
I've spoken with a lot of employers. Many of them will contact me prior to advertising for a position.
I hire Florida Coast Career Tech graduates because they're prepared with the skills that we need from day one.
I was so amazed how ready I was once I got hired. The training was identical to what I do every day. You can't get that training anywhere else.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012.
This is the 4th month in a row our sales have been flat. We've got to find a way to reach some new customers.
Hey, I have an idea.
We've tried everything. Newspaper ads, flyers, radio. Nothing seems to be working. I just don't know what we're going to do.
Hey, wait, I have an idea.
We have a great business. There's just got to be a way to reach more customers.
Listen, I have an idea. What about JTA?
The bus people? How can they help us reach more customers?
Think about it. Our ads on the side of buses driving all over the city. Or maybe one of their new fancy bus shelters. They even have their own television show called Making Moves. We could run ads on the show. We would reach thousands of people.
Now that's a great idea.
Let JTA help you connect with your customers. We have transit advertising options for nearly every budget. Call our corporate sales office at 630-3109 and let us put together a great package for you. Get creative. Advertise the JTA way.
Welcome back to Making Moves. The American Public Transportation Association has honored Making Moves with a 2011 AdWheel Award. The national organization singled out our story on seniors using JTA to maintain their independence. So we are very grateful for that. And a special congratulations to our correspondent Terry Casey, videographer Mick Richards, and our executive producer Bill Milnes, who all worked on that story. Isn't that great, Michael?
That is absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. And time now for your final thoughts.
Joyce, let's kind of reflect for a moment on the fact that we've been able to present this show for the last 3 years, and reflecting on the, as you pointed out earlier, numerous of compelling stories about many of our customers making use of the system. And the other thing that I think is also important in that recognition is the fact that we are informing our community about all of the transportation projects that are underway, have been completed, or are thought of in terms of the future of our area. And it's very, very important. And I'm just really pleased that you guys and Bill and the whole staff has done a tremendous job of really communicating to the public. You know, they tell us all the time how amazed they are at the history of the JTA and the kind of value that the JTA brings to the community, notwithstanding the fact that you have over 600 employees, but the number of contractors and vendors who definitely gain from an economic standpoint in terms of being able to do business with the authorities. So we bring a tremendous amount of value to this community, in particular to Northeast Florida, as we go into the future.
And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you back next time when we kick off season number 4. Complete episodes of Making Moves are always available online at jtafla.com. And of course, make sure to stay in touch with us on Facebook. For the entire Making Moves team, I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. We'll see you the next time we're Making Moves. Coming up next on Making Moves, plans to build a new Greyhound station in La Villa get a critical thumbs up. Rehab on the Matthews Bridge is underway. We'll tell you what impact it might have on you. We'll talk transportation with North Florida's newest state senator, and it's Muffin Monday on the X2. We'll explain. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Stay tuned for those stories and much more next on Making Moves.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012.
Welcome to JTA Making Moves. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Michael Blaylock will be joining me in just a moment. Our top story, the new Greyhound station that is planned as part of the Multimodal Transportation Center in La Villa got its final okay from the JTA Board of Directors. The board approved plans to build the new Greyhound station on 4 parcels of land obtained from the city of Jacksonville earlier this year. The cost of the project is expected to be between $3.5 and $5 million, with construction starting by the middle of next year. Meanwhile, the board temporarily dropped its plans to pursue another 10 parcels from the city to build the remainder of the transportation center. According to board chairman Michael Cavendish, the delay is only to provide new Jacksonville Mayor Alvin Brown and the new city council members more time to review the project. As for funding, both the JTA and the FDOT are currently pursuing state and federal grants to cover the cost. Florida Congresswoman Corrine Brown tells Making Moves that she supports both projects and is working in Washington to secure the funding.
Well, this project has been in the plans for a long time. And so if we could ever get a transportation bill or a stimulus bill, it would be a part of that plan. It's a part of my priority, and it meets the state priority.
And let's bring in JTA Executive Director and CEO Michael Blaylock right now, and let's talk about funding. It sounds like the Congresswoman is pretty confident about this funding, but what about JTA and the DOT? Do you think we can do this by the summer?
Joyce, you know, we are pretty well on target in terms of the Greyhound portion of the Regional Transportation Center, and I think our focus now obviously is exploring the relocation of the Amtrak station back downtown. And so we're working through our due diligence process, and we'll be presenting that, as the chairman spoke earlier, we'll be presenting that to the mayor and to the city council in terms of that whole vision with respect to the Greyhound and the rest of that facility. So I'm pretty excited to have this kind of level of partnership that we're receiving now. So I feel pretty positive about it.
So it sounds like we're off to a good start. Now, the project does have the JTA board's approval, and the Downtown Development Review Board has also approved the conceptual design. So what do you need next?
Well, you got, with respect to the Amtrak, you've got 3 major railroad entities that you have to get through in terms of the track reconfiguration that has to take place there. And then, of course, the sharing of the convention center, you know, with the other parties that are there now, SMG. And that's a process that has to go through the mayor, and we're going to work through that process as well.
Okay. In other news, the JTA Board of Directors has a new member. Nick Sengas has been named the interim District 2 Secretary at the Florida Department of Transportation, replacing Alan Mosley. The District 2 Secretary sits as one of the 7 members of the JTA Board. Sengas has been the District 2 Director of Transportation Operations. Mr. Mosley resigned to pursue new opportunities in the private sector. And now that you have a new board member, a lot of people are going to be wondering, just who is Nick Sengas? Tell us about him.
Well, the interim secretary, the good news is we know him. We've had a pretty good relationship. He's a 30-year veteran with the Florida Department of Transportation. So he's served as an aviation engineer, production engineer. So he has a wealth of experience that he brings to the board. So it should be pretty good.
Okay. Just months after the DOT wrapped up its 18-month-long rehab and painting job on the city's Hart Bridge, the 58-year-old Matthews Bridge is next in line for a makeover. The bridge, which connects downtown and Arlington, will be rehabbed and repainted over the next 2 years. Cost of the project is nearly $23 million. Now, besides a fresh paint job, workers will also be repairing structural steel, adding corrosion protection, new ladders, platforms and railings, and rehabilitating the joints that allow the bridge segments to expand and contract. The DOT says any bridge and lane closures will be done at night or on the weekends. The Matthews Bridge handles more than 66,000 vehicles a day, and by the way, the bridge will keep its dark red color. Well, the Clay County Sheriff's Department was in dire need of a mobile command center for hostage negotiations and other emergency response situations. But buying a brand new vehicle and then outfitting it with all the necessary communications equipment was just not in their budget. That's when JTA came to the rescue. The authority offered up one of its old out-of-service buses. The Clay County Sheriff's Office then gutted that bus down to the bone and then renovated the inside into a first-rate command center. The JTA's bus painters finished off the project with a brand new coat of paint. JTA's Deputy Director and CFO, Blair Fishburne, was on hand for the unveiling in late September. Now, Michael, you know, this is really a great example of partners working together on this project. But, you know, we already have a route that connects with the Clay Transit in Clay County. And you also have the Park and Ride Center near Fleming Island. So it's really moving JTA and Clay County into that regional aspect that we always talk about.
And Joyce, that's ultimately where we're headed. I mean, we've had a great relationship with Clay County, and sharing, donating that bus to them was a good thing, the right thing to do, particularly with all these shrinking budgets of some of these counties. And so anytime that we can lend ourselves services to them, then we should do that. But the good news is that again represents another opportunity to partner. So you're right, in the aspects of moving forward as a regional partnership, that is exactly what we should be doing.
Okay, keep working together. Businesses from all over Jacksonville joined together last month to help fight heart disease. Now, thousands of participants, including dozens from JTA, put on their sneakers and walked that 3-mile heart walk course through downtown. You can see Team JTA right there in their vibrant yellow shirts. JTA employees raised almost $5,000 for the American Heart Association, part of nearly $1 million raised by all the participants in this year's walk. Well, later this month, former state representative Audrey Gibson officially assumes her new role as state senator for District 1. It's the seat that Tony Hill vacated to work in Mayor Alvin Brown's administration. Now, Making Moves caught up with the senator-elect to get a look at her goals for her new job.
Senator-elect Audrey Gibson is making final preparations to move from the State House to the Senate. Florida's newest state senator says she's excited to get started.
To have the opportunity to maybe make even more of an impact because of the size of the Senate, which is a little more intimate.
Gibson was very busy in her former role in the House, serving on several committees, including the Transportation and Economic Development Appropriations Committee. She hopes to continue that in the Senate.
I have requested my committees, and Transportation and Economic Development Appropriations are two of the ones that I requested. So I have my fingers crossed that I will get those.
You may recall that Gibson was instrumental in getting the bill signed into law that created the North Florida Regional Transportation Study. Representatives from Duval and surrounding counties are exploring the feasibility of a regional transportation authority. Gibson has personally attended some of the meetings to check the progress, as a recommendation is due by December of 2012.
I am actually encouraged by the information, and I know we can work through those things, and I'm surely available to help with that, because I think we have to move into the next century, and the way we do that largely, I think, is dependent upon transportation and those things surrounding the issues of transportation.
Gibson is also committed to transportation because she relied on public transit as a youngster, and now her father struggles for reliable service between Clay and Duval counties.
And he needs to get from place to place, doctor's appointments and things like that. And I'm his only driver, and he lives about 30, 40 minutes from me in another county. And so since the two don't mix, and we don't have the regional transportation issues all ironed out yet, it impacts two families.
It's no surprise that Senator-elect Gibson plans to make the move to the Senate seamless so she can remain focused on her goals and the business of serving District 1.
One of my goals is to make sure that we have an economic development situation where all of our incentive dollars are, that we actually do stimulate jobs over the long term, but that we also, from a transportation perspective, make sure that we get some short-term projects going and continuously going, because those provide jobs immediately.
By the way, Senator Gibson will have little time to unpack and relax, as her Senate seat will be up for re-election again next year. Well, Michael, you know, Senator-elect Gibson obviously has a very unique understanding of transportation, you know, with her father and then all of her work.
Well, you know, the other thing, Joyce, keep in mind that it was her initial legislation that created the Regional Transportation Study Commission. That's pretty well underway now, and we have until next year to submit our final report to the legislature. So she has been a very strong advocate for transportation, and particularly this whole concept of sharing and working in partnership with the other counties.
Yeah, she said that's one of the things that she will definitely be working on as a senator.
And we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, still to come on Making Moves, Muffin Monday on the X2. You must see it to believe it. Then a little later, Making Moves wins a national award. We'll have all those details when we come back.
You're watching JTA Making Moves, honored by the Florida Public Transportation Association with its 2010 Award of Excellence.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012.
During this, our third season on the air, Making Moves has covered a wide-ranging list of transportation-related stories, everything from new construction projects to telling the many compelling stories of JTA passengers. Here's Making Moves' Bill Milnes with a quick look back at the top 10 stories of the past season.
Making Moves has covered plenty of fascinating, controversial, and informative transportation stories over the past 12 months. So, let's count them down. Number 10, Find Island. This 30-foot-high dirt and grass mound turned 9/11 tribute near the Atlantic Boulevard Bridge in the Intercoastal Waterway became a source of irritation for some nearby residents. So JTA had it removed and planted new marsh grass across the area. Now Find Island can't be found at all. Number 9, high-speed rail. Florida lost out on the high-speed rail party when Governor Scott decided it was just too risky for the state. But these super-fast trains could still make their way to Jacksonville as part of the Southeast High-Speed Rail Network. In 2011, JTA continued to work with the planners in Georgia on that project. Number 8, Alta and Heckscher Drives. These two construction projects are a critical part of our port expansion. Alta Drive gives trucks an alternative route to 9A. The nearly completed Heckscher Drive has been expanded from 2 lanes to 4, with new bridges over Dunn Creek and the Broward River. Number 7, budget cuts. The economy continued to take a beating during 2011, and JTA, like all other employers, felt the crunch. So JTA tightened its belts even more and saved millions.
System redesign efforts for making bus routes that were not running very efficiently, with low ridership, and re-engineering a lot of those routes and putting in community shuttles, the smaller vehicles to handle the ridership in the neighborhoods, taking the big buses out of the smaller neighborhoods, as well as just an aggressive cost containment program throughout all of the organizations here at JTA. And as a result, we've been able to reduce our expenses $12.5 million.
Number 6, bus shelters. The JTA promised the transit riding public more protection from the elements, and in 2011 it delivered. More than 24 new historic-style shelters were erected downtown, with the first of 50 new shelters going up along high-frequency corridors like Main Street, Beach, Atlantic, Lem Turner, Dunn Avenue, and more. Number 5, Greyhound. After much debate, the Jacksonville City Council voted to give JTA 4 city parcels of land to build Phase 1 of its Regional Transportation Center in La Villa. As part of the plan, Greyhound will move from its current downtown location to a new facility at the La Villa site. Amtrak and a new JTA bus facility are also planned as part of this multimodal transportation center. Number 4, ridership increases. Despite sky-high unemployment across North Florida, ridership throughout the JTA transit system was up more than 8% in fiscal year 2011, with some months showing double-digit increases. Many riders told Making Moves they were just tired of paying for high gas prices, and JTA offered them a reasonable alternative. Number 3, regional transportation. Serious progress was made over the past 12 months in the development of a regional transportation plan for the 7 counties of Northeast Florida. Representatives from Flagler, Baker, St. Johns, Clay, Duval, Nassau, and Putnam counties have worked tirelessly to lay the groundwork for what could be a regional transportation authority for the area. Number 2, the Atlantic-Kernan Overpass. The intersection of Atlantic and Kernan Boulevards was the most dangerous in Jacksonville for 6 consecutive years. In 2011, JTA opened a new interchange and overpass at that location that allows traffic to move more efficiently and safely through this one-time danger zone. Number 1, magnet school transportation. Sometimes you do things just because it's the right thing to do. Helping thousands of Duval County middle and high school students get to class after the school district stopped offering transportation to 7 magnet schools was one of those times. JTA worked diligently with all the affected schools, parents, and students to do everything it could to make sure transportation wouldn't be the reasons these kids couldn't get to their magnet school. With a cost of only $30 a month, many parents say JTA was the only affordable option available to them, and we're grateful that JTA stepped up to help.
Just to see this new market of kids who otherwise, because of their transportation issues, wouldn't use JTA, tried our system, and it was successful.
And there you have it, the top 10 stories on Making Moves during Season 3. I'm Bill Milnes.
And Mr. Blaylock, it's been a remarkable year for transportation here in Northeast Florida. What is your most memorable moment?
Well, Joyce, really, I'm really just fascinated over the fact that we've had the opportunity to present this show for the last 3 years, and to think of the hundreds of thousands of viewers who chose to tune in and to watch the shows, and some of the comments that we've received, and I'm sure you've gotten them as well. Telling us all the great stories and just the interest in transportation and not really fully understanding all of the things that the JTA has been involved in. So I found it fascinating that we're able to inform our viewers at the level that we've been able to do so.
And I have to agree, because that is the thing that most people say to me is that, I didn't know JTA did that.
Well, it's an incredible history when you think about 55 years of providing service to this area, and had it not been for an agency like the JTA, when you think about the construction of the Danes Point Bridge, the Wonderwood Expressway, the Butler Boulevard corridor, all of those facilities created tremendous economic opportunities for this community and improved the road network for all of Jacksonville. So I'm just excited that